The Healthcare Labyrinth Podcast is back for another episode. Join Marc S. Ryan, a veteran health plan and health technology executive, as he explores the world of healthcare.
Welcome, everyone, to this episode of the Healthcare Labyrinth Podcast. My name is Marc Ryan, and thanks to everyone for listening in. This week, I will be talking Medicare Advantage star ratings and some significant changes just announced by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. We'll take a few extra breaks today to make this more digestible. A few of the ads will come from my new venture with Neetu Rajpal and Alex Schaefer, known as Lilac Software, which helps plans excel at star ratings by bringing the right data strategy, dashboarding, forecasting, and agentic AI performance solutions. Back on October 24th, I had a podcast on the recent Star Year 2026 Medicare Advantage star results. I bemoaned the fact that the recovery in ratings was negligible. Star ratings peaked in 2022 when the government made numerous allowances due to the COVID pandemic. After that, star ratings plummeted as regular rules came back. So they went down in 23, 24, and 25. In 2026, statistics were barely above 25 results, showing just how much plans, big, medium, and small, took their eyes off of the stars ball over the last several years. Since then, there was great speculation that CMS would actually seek to make star ratings even tougher in Medicare Advantage MA. Sure enough, CMS acted on this on November 25th, publishing a draft MA and Part D rule for 2027 that would make sweeping star changes, eliminating easy-to-hit check-the-box operational measures, as well as a few others, and replacing them with tougher clinical measures to truly gauge quality. That will make plans' star recovery even more challenging and likely means a great deal of lost revenue. This will impact benefits in the program as well. CMS and some in Congress may want to ultimately remove the added dollars for stars, and if the program stays, make it budget neutral. Rewards would be distributed from rate dollars to create winners and losers based on achievement. So is this Trump proposal really a surprise? Well, not really. The Biden administration telegraphed in the 2026 MA and Part D rule it proposed shortly before it left office that it wanted to do something similar. In that proposal, it said that it wanted to retire a lot of operational measures and adopt more universal foundation ones. The last Biden MA rule was largely not finalized by the Trump administration, but it shows the sentiment at CMS. Once acclimated, the new Trump administration picked up on the proposal, and it is now furthering it. The new STARS approach is consistent with some of the philosophies of think tanks close to the Trump administration that want more accountability and take excessive costs out of the STARS program. This includes the Paragon Health Institute. The proposal also matches up well with Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s Make America Healthy Again movement and CMS Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz's core healthcare philosophies. With that, we will take our first break, and when we come back, we will dive into the details of the CMS proposal to remake STARS. Be right back.
Health plans and insurance are confusing. Our healthcare system is in dire need of reform. Health policy expert Marc Ryan tackles both issues in his book, The Healthcare Labyrinth. It is both a guide to navigating health plans and fixing American health insurance. Marc dives deep into how health plans and the American health insurance system operate. He then outlines a comprehensive reform agenda for the system as a whole, including pricing, emphasizing health and care management, and ensuring affordable access to health coverage in a private delivery model. Marc is a bit of an unconventional Republican in that he believes affordable access is the morally right thing to do, and that it is also fiscally prudent for our nation. Learn more about Marc's book, The Healthcare Labyrinth, at healthcarelabyrinth.com or search at leading bookseller websites. Available in print, ebook, and audiobook forms.
Welcome back, and we hope you're enjoying this episode of the Healthcare Labyrinth Podcast. We are talking about a recent announcement from CMS that will make star achievement much tougher by overhauling the ratings program. So what are the changes and details? Well, there are two big changes. First, measure elimination. Beginning primarily in measure year 27 or star year 29, CMS proposes to remove 12 measures, largely focused on operational administrative processes, or those measures that no longer show variability in quality among plans. The call center and stat measures will be removed in measure year 26, star year 28, with the other measures being retired again in measure year 27 or star year 29. These measures that are being retired are administrative operational measures removed entirely, 2 Part C appeals measures, Part C and D call center measures, Part C special needs care management measure, Part C and D complaints measures, Part C and D disenrollment measures, and the Medicare Plan Finder Price Accuracy measure. Measures that are no longer showing variability in quality and will be retired include diabetes care eye exam, statin therapy for patients with cardiovascular disease, CAHPS customer service, and CAHPS rating of healthcare quality. The above has the effect of transferring so-called star power to drug, HOS survey, and quality improvement measures. The second big change is the fact that the Excellent Health Outcomes for All, EHO for All, the former Health Equity Index, will not be implemented for star year 27, measure year 25. The reward factor would be maintained for consistently high-performing plans. I will discuss the legality of all this a little later in the podcast. CMS also proposes to introduce a new depression screening and follow-up measure that would begin with measure year 27, star year 29. This was expected as the universal foundation measures are rolled out throughout government healthcare programs. The changes could have a huge impact on plans. CMS says this is the estimated impact on star ratings once all these changes are rolled out. 62% of contracts will see no impact to star ratings. 13% of contracts will see an increase of 1/2 star. 25% of contracts will see a decrease of 1/2 star. One contract would drop by 1 star. So at least a quarter of plans would see a drop in star ratings and therefore could see a major reduction in added revenue. And there is no question that the new approach on measures makes it even more difficult to consistently perform well over time. With that, we will take our second break, and when we come back, we will dive into whether the EHO for All change in the rule is actually legal. Be right back.
Lilac Software is proud to work with the Healthcare Labyrinth website to educate people on the healthcare system. At Lilac, we believe transparency is so important in healthcare. The healthcare system is opaque, and Lilac is trying to bring clarity to data and unleash the best member care, reduce costs, and improve outcomes. Our cloud-native payer platform revolutionizes data insights and analytics. Plans have all the data they need, but in silos locked away in point solutions. At Lilac, we solve the data fragmentation problem and help plans turn complex data into actionable insights, leading to greater operating leverage, tight cost controls, and healthier members. Health plans can improve star scores, reduce medical expense, drive revenue, and more. Quite simply, with Lilac, you can drive better business and health outcomes. Learn more at lilacsoftware.com.
Welcome back, and we hope you are enjoying this episode of the Healthcare Labyrinth Podcast. We're talking about a recent announcement from CMS that will make star achievement much tougher by overhauling the ratings program. I promised next to cover is the Trump 2027 MA and Part D rule eliminating the Excellent Health Outcomes for All reward for star year 27 actually legal? While many plans will not cry about the elimination of EHO for All, some plans have invested heavily to make the conversion to the new health equity program. And the big question is whether the Trump administration is violating due process and the Administrative Procedure Act by eliminating the new reward as of star year 2027 so quickly. Here is some of my thinking. The APA and due process requires that plans have adequate notice and the ability to comment on proposed changes. In effect, that is not happening with the EHO for All elimination proposal because the draft has come out with just 1 month left in one of the measurement years key for calculating the EHO for All reward. What's more, the rule will not be finalized until months after measure year 25 concludes. The original Health Equity Index proposal went through rulemaking back in 2023. Plans had sufficient notice to prepare for the major change. Now they will not. Plans did not assume the reward factor would continue and moved on to strategizing on driving results for health equity populations for the EHO for All reward. Many plans have invested millions in planning and driving results in anticipation of the change coming online in star year 27. Winners and losers are also created. While most plans would see little additional reward under EHO for All initially, many plans have invested heavily again in the reward program in anticipation of it coming online. Many of these plans do not have a shot at the reward factor. You need to consistently score at least in the very high threes or higher on the overall rating to get it. And others have high concentrations of LIS, DE, and disabled populations that are covered under the EHO for All reward factor. These plans were counting on the EHO for All to help drive star ratings. Those who have consistently received the reward factor and do not have a major penetration of health equity populations would benefit from the reversal on EHO for All. So, some plans could challenge the provision. Federal courts recently cited adequate notice provisions under the APA to throw out various CMS or regulatory provisions, including the RADV audit rule, and on STARS itself in 2024 regarding guardrails and the two-key outlier implementation. From a good governance perspective, what the Trump administration is doing is simply wrong. The move is blatantly political. They hate anything health equity, and this proposal eliminates something not in favor under Trump. Rulemaking be damned. It is not transparent and encourages government by fiat. It undermines the rule of law and calls into question how the private sector can rely on government direction and make investments. This goes beyond healthcare and takes in all of government regulation. So whether you like EHO for All or not is beside the point. This is about getting adequate notice and preparation to carry out fiduciary and regulatory duties in government programs and the free market more generally. The Trump administration has the right to eliminate the EHO for All. After all, it was elected. But it should not be done in a scattershot manner. No administration should have the right to upend reliance on regulation and years of planning by the health plans. With that, we will take our third break, and when we come back, we will dive into the details by year. Be right back.
The Healthcare Labyrinth is no ordinary website. It features news and commentary from one of the nation's leading healthcare policy and technology experts. Marc Ryan combs the internet for the latest healthcare news and publishes a news feed each weekday with summations and Marc's insights. Twice a week, Marc publishes a blog to go deep into a current issue. And of course, Marc hosts a podcast each week to delve even further. All of this is available at healthcarelabyrinth.com. Visit each day for the latest happenings in healthcare. As well, learn more about Marc's book, The Healthcare Labyrinth, at the website. That's healthcarelabyrinth.com, your go-to source for healthcare news.
Welcome back, and we hope you are enjoying this episode of the Healthcare Labyrinth Podcast. We are talking about a recent announcement from CMS that will make star achievement much tougher by overhauling the ratings program. I promise next to cover some details by year, so let's get into it. Given all that is changing, here is a star year 27, star year 28, and future years breakout. confirm, propose, and possible. I have included items proposed in the 27 MA and Part D rule, which will not be finalized again until late March or early April and could change. We cannot be certain all of them will be finalized, so plans need to be nimble here. First, measure year 25 in flight now, which contributes to the star year 27 rating. Well, the reward factor was to be sunset and the EHO for all reward was scheduled to come in. Like the reward factor, the EHO for all was supposed to reward an additional up to 0.4 points for high quality performance on low-income subsidy, dual-eligible, and disabled populations. In the aggregate, fewer dollars would have been awarded initially under EHO for all, 0.1 of 0.4 for EHO for all, versus currently 0.3 of 0.4 for the reward factor. As noted above, the proposed 27 MA and Part D rule would retain the reward factor and not implement EHO for all if the proposal is finalized. Next, the health outcome survey measures improving or maintaining physical health and improving or maintaining mental health returned in star year 26 with 1x weights. In star year 27, these measures will move to 3x each. The measures look at improvement of cohorts over a 2-year period. In star year 27, the baseline year is measure year 23, and the follow-up year is measure year 25. Next, care for older adults pain assessment is removed from STAR and care for older adults functional status assessment returns. Next, 2 new difficult drug measures are introduced. 1, concurrent use of opioids and benzodiazepines, and 2, polypharmacy use of multiple ACH medications in older adults. These are challenging as the overlapping period for drugs impacting drug safety is extremely short. Often by the time you discover the overlapping drugs, the member is non-compliant for the year. A risk-based approach is essential to perform well on these measures. Next are the removal of 2 measures in measure year 25, medication reconciliation post-discharge and medication therapy management comprehensive medication review. Next, colorectal cancer screening is expanded down to age 45. While the ECDS electronic conversion was not deemed substantive in star year 26, it should have been, this change is being deemed so in star year 27. It remains a star measure, however, as the respecified measure has been on the display page. Next, diabetes care eye exam will no longer have a chart review option. This is worth about 2 points in performance. And last, in measure year 25, a statin tolerance exclusion is introduced in the statin use in persons with diabetes measure. Let's move on to measure year 26, which contributes to star year 28 ratings. 2 major changes for all 3 medication adherence measures: diabetes, RAS antagonists, and statins. Due to the significant changes in measure specifications, the 3 measures will drop from 3x weights to 1x weights in measure year 26. So what are the 2 changes? Well, a new risk adjustment methodology is added, which will adjust for differences in adherence for age, various age bands, sex, male and female, low-income subsidy, dual-eligible, and disability. The risk adjustment is applied to overall medication adherence performance based on the actual rate for the contract, predicted rate for the contract, and national benchmark. And then the other change for med adherence measures is removal of the inpatient hospital and skilled nursing facility adjustments to the measure. The next change is the statin therapy for patients with cardiovascular disease was to change significantly and therefore would have moved to the display page for 2 years beginning in measure year 26 before coming back to STAR for star year 2030, measure year 28. The main change is that NCQA is modifying the female exclusion so that all ages for females are included in the measure. The measure would also be converted to ECDS electronic in measure year 26. As noted above, the proposed 27 MA and Part D rule would eliminate this measure in measure year 26, star year 28. And last, for measure year 26, the proposed 27 MA and Part D rule would eliminate the 2 call center measures. With that, we will take our fourth break, and when we come back, we will dive into the future year details. Be right back.
Health plans and insurance are confusing. Our healthcare system is in dire need of reform. Health policy expert Marc Ryan tackles both issues in his book, The Healthcare Labyrinth. It is both a guide to navigating health plans and fixing American health insurance. Marc dives deep into how health plans and the American health insurance system operate. He then outlines a comprehensive reform agenda for the system as a whole, including pricing, emphasizing health and care management, and ensuring affordable access to health coverage in a private delivery model. Marc is a bit of an unconventional Republican in that he believes affordable access is the morally right thing to do, and that it is also fiscally prudent for our nation. Learn more about Marc's book, The Healthcare Labyrinth, at healthcarelabyrinth.com or search at leading bookseller websites. Available in print, ebook, and audiobook forms.
Welcome back, and we hope you are enjoying this episode of the Healthcare Labyrinth Podcast. We are talking about a recent announcement from CMS that will make STAR achievement much tougher by overhauling the ratings program. I promised to cover possible changes in future years, so let's get into that now. Here are the verified, proposed, or possible changes down the road after Measure Year 26, STAR Year 28. First, Measure Year 27, STAR Year 29. The breast cancer screening age band will be expanded down to 40 from 50 in Measure Year 27, STAR Year 29. This tracks to the latest prevention recommendations. Next, as noted, the proposed 2027 MA and Part D rule would eliminate the following: 2 Part C appeals measures, Part C special needs care management, Part C and D complaints measures, Part C and D disenrollment measures, Medicare Plan Finder price accuracy measure, diabetes care eye exam measure, CAPS customer service measure, and CAPS rating of healthcare quality measure. Next, as noted, the proposed 2027 MA and Part D rule would move depression screening and follow-up to STAR in that measurement year. It will meet the requirement that it will be on the display page for at least 2 years. Let's talk later years. Well, NCQA has a goal of converting all hybrid measures to ECDS electronic measures from hybrid ones by Measure Year 2029 and non-hybrid measures by Measure Year 2030. Breast cancer and colorectal cancer are complete. As for remaining hybrid measures, which will have the most impact, controlling blood pressure is slated for conversion in Measure Year 28, STAR Year 2030. Controlling blood sugar, transitions of care, and all care for older adult measures are scheduled for conversion in Measure Year 29, STAR Year 2031. These ECDS measures can be very challenging for many plans, not in interoperability-rich states or with immature approaches to interoperability. We saw this with colorectal cancer screening conversion in Measure Year 24. Next, initiation engagement of substance use disorder treatment and initial opioid prescribing for long duration were proposed by Biden for inclusion in STAR, but were not finalized by Trump 47. These 2 measures could be proposed again for inclusion in the future. These can be tough measures to perform on as well. Next, we should expect additional universal foundation measure adoption, but dates are yet unknown. The proposed 27 MA and Part D rule proposes depression screening and follow-up for Measure Year 27. Others that could be adopted in the future are adult immunization status and physical functioning activities of daily living, among others. These as well are very tough measures. Next, a drug safety measure could be adopted in the future. It is called polypharmacy use of multiple central nervous system medications in older adults. This measure is similar to the tough poly-ACH measure adopted for Measure Year 25. The CNS measure was proposed but was pulled back due to some technical problems with the measure. Next, health outcome survey measure changes are planned. HOS is challenging for plans. Next, measure specification changes are planned for COA functional status and COA medication review. Next, changes are planned for plan makes timely decisions about appeals and the reviewing appeals decision measures. But the 27 MA and Part D rule proposes retiring these measures in measure year 27. A geographic index, urban versus rural indicator, was proposed to be added to the EHO for all reward, but that could be moot if the EHO for all reward is actually eliminated via the 27 MA and Part D rule. Next, removal possible of the guardrails for non-CAPS measures when calculating cut points could be finalized in the future. It was proposed but not finalized. This could both help and hurt plans. Next, removal is possible of with and without improvement in overall and summary rating calculations for 4 and 4.5 star plans, effectively requiring improvement to be used in the overall and summary calculations for all plans other than 5-star plans. This would be a huge blow to certain highly rated plans. Next, while the proposed 2027 MA and Part D rule eliminated all operational measures and some others, the following were mentioned for elimination as well, but not yet acted on: care for older adult measures and the medication therapy management comprehensive medication review measure. This measure was removed temporarily from STAR in measure year 25, STAR year 27, but was scheduled to return to STAR as early as measure year 27, STAR year 29. Last, changes previously were proposed to clarify calculating the EHO for all reward factor. These regarded how to do so for contract consolidations, data discrepancies, missing data, for dual eligible SNP plans migrating from master contracts to freestanding ones, for institutional SNP only contracts, and for how EHO for all would be calculated for the hold harmless provision for highly rated plans. These would not be necessary if the EHO for all is eliminated per the proposed 2027 MA and Part D rule. With that, we will take our 5th break, and when we come back, we will dive into the possible impact on the growing special needs plan market if these STAR changes go in. Be right back.
Lilac Software is proud to work with the Healthcare Labyrinth website to educate people on the healthcare system. At Lilac, we believe transparency is so important in healthcare. The healthcare system is opaque, and Lilac is trying to bring clarity to data and unleash the best member care, reduce costs, and improve outcomes. Our cloud-native payer platform revolutionizes data insights and analytics. Plans have all the data they need, but in silos locked away in point solutions. At Lilac, we solve the data fragmentation problem and help plans turn complex data into actionable insights, leading to greater operating leverage, tight cost controls, and healthier members. Health plans can improve STAR scores, reduce medical expense, drive revenue, and more. Quite simply, with Lilac, you can drive better business and health outcomes. Learn more at lilacsoftware.com.
Welcome back, and we hope you are enjoying this episode of the Healthcare Labyrinth Podcast. We're talking about a recent announcement from CMS that will make STAR achievement much tougher by overhauling the ratings program. I promise next to cover some of the possible impacts on special needs plans. So what about the impact of SNP growth on STAR's achievement for plans? SNP growth could have major impacts on STAR ratings in the future for plans concentrating growth here. This is not only the case because more dual eligibles and SNP members will be enrolled in given contracts due to SNP product expansions, but also because CMS and states are working to split out dual eligible or D-SNP lives into freestanding contracts based on a rule several years ago. In 2026, SNPs make up about 1/3 of all MA plans, up from about 1/4 a year ago. As of September enrollment, over 22% of all MA enrollment, over 7.967 million, was in SNPs, about 78% of that in D-SNPs. Measure performance for dual-eligible SNP populations is much lower. Looking at contracts with no SNP lives versus those with 100% SNP lives, you find that performance is as much as 0.3 points lower for the overall formula. Those with high concentration of SNP lives in a contract usually have performance that falls between the no SNP lives and 100% SNP life numbers. Notably, medication adherence measures are most impacted when more duals or SNP members are in the plan. The impact is more than double the 0.3 point impact when comparing no SNP life contracts to 100% SNP life contracts. The Categorical Adjustment Index, or CAI, was introduced to recognize and compensate plans with dual-eligible SNP member concentrations so they're not discriminated against in the STAR performance and bonuses formulas, but the consensus is that it does not fully do so. Thus, the concentration by MA plans on SNPs and dual-eligible lives, as well as the contract breakouts that are planned between CMS and states, could demonstrably impact quality bonus achievement in the future for plans that invest heavily in SNP products or have a lot of dual-eligible lives. You can argue that these lives are in the overall Medicare population already and will be served anyway, but the concentration on SNPs and duals itself certainly could complicate achievement for many plans in the future. So let's summarize here. I am a believer in continuing the additive nature of STAR bonuses, at least for some time. But MA is the only place where extra quality bonus dollars exist in government programs. Policymakers may come to the conclusion we cannot afford this. I think CMS has done a good job over the years of driving better performance and quality. But the idea that we should get tougher and refocus on the right things is not unreasonable. It is all about how quickly this happens and ensuring the stability of MA while the migration occurs. As CMS delivers on sunsetting some operational measures and focusing more on clinical outcomes, the STAR program could become much tougher, and billions in bonuses could evaporate for plans. As well, the SNP growth includes populations impacted by social determinants of health and are tougher to serve. The two together create great uncertainty in STAR achievement for many plans moving forward. To succeed, plans will need to invest more in STARs. The pivot to true healthcare outcome measures will require quicker and better data collection analyses, better tracking and forecasting, ongoing strategy refinement, and novel tech-based interventions to close gaps for everyone. Given where STAR ratings are right now, the roller coaster ride will be perilous, but perhaps exciting at the same time. I told you earlier about my new venture with Neetu Rajpal and Alex Schaefer, which is called Lilac Software. We focus on STARS achievement. To learn more, you can go to lilacsoftware.com. With that, we will conclude this episode of the Healthcare Labyrinth Podcast. See you next week. Take care.
Thanks for joining Mark and the Healthcare Labyrinth Podcast. Go to healthcarelabyrinth.com each day for the latest healthcare news. See you next week on the next Healthcare Labyrinth Podcast.